This is where the farm was, 85 acres. If there's a theme to this story of dairy farming in Oneida County, it has to do with its growth and its changes. By 1960, a farmer produced enough to feed a family of 8. By 1965, enough to feed more than 30. And by 2012, enough to feed more than 150. I witnessed this amazing growth and the equally amazing changes in dairy farming firsthand because I was born into a farm family. When you grow up on a farm, you don't just help out, you are a farmer, even if you're a girl. Farming is more than an occupation. It's a way of life. I am so fortunate to have been raised on a farm. And later in life, I wanted to raise my children in the same way. So they went to 4-H. They had horses and chickens and rabbits and were steeped in the values of farm life. Ours was a small dairy farm, 25 Holstein cows. Our farmhouse had belonged to my grandparents. They lived downstairs. The 6 of us lived upstairs. We had an extra bedroom. That was for our hired man, Al, who had no family. My mom fed him, did his washing, and he was like one of the family. Each day when I got home from school, I changed into my jeans and a t-shirt and charged outdoors to see what chores my dad had for me. Homework would wait until after supper and the daylight was gone. And this is how I learned my work ethic. I learned to drive standard shift on our John Deere tractor. In the spring, I'd plow the front field. In the summer, my job was to be a mechanic, crawling under the hay baler to grease it. In the fall, I'd help Mom by climbing into the silo to guide the blowpipe and to settle the chopped corn. In the winter, I cleaned the mangers in the cow barn. I loved going up to the haymow and pushing the bales down, breaking them up and feeding them to the cows, mixing in a shovelful of corn and a dollop of grain. In the cold of winter, the barn was a warm, welcoming place. We had 2 work horses, Chub and Chuck. They were a smooth ride. We drank unpasteurized milk at our table, and I could tell from the taste whether the cows had pastured in alfalfa or timothy or clover. I went with Dad to truck our milk to Hamline Dairy, sometimes stopping off at West End Brewery to get a load of delicious-smelling brewery grains, the mash which is left over from making beer. We also grew asparagus and berries. And for picking berries, I got 2 cents a quart. Vegetables, fruit, and eggs we delivered to a grocery market on South Street in Utica named Naim Juid, a relative of the Shinatri family. We stored tuber vegetables by the bushel in the root cellar to await shipment to market. At mealtime, I'd be sent to the cellar, a scary place for a child, to get a mason jar of peaches or tomatoes or berries for the table. At our water well, a turned handle brought up a cup chain of delicious cold water pouring through the spout. With a tin cup hanging on top of the pump, the town road crew would always stop for a drink of water there. My parents always paid cash for everything. Groceries, cows, farm machinery, trucks and cars, and even the college tuition for my 3 siblings and me. That was the farmer's way. The farm was my world in the 1940s and 50s. But in 1980, my father had a stroke, and my brother returned from college, and we auctioned off the cows. Not long after that, the land was rented out to a local bean grower. One of the worst sights I ever witnessed in my life was the unoccupied farmhouse burning to the ground in 2015. It was the last vestige of my farm life.